When we talk about correlations, what we're actually talking about is the relationship between two data sets. What type of relationship do they have? So if you look here, and let's just focus on the graphs right now, not exactly what data sets we're talking about. If you look at all of these data points, all of these ordered pairs, it's pretty easy to see that there has to be some type of relationship between your x value and your y value, because as your x value is increasing, so is your y value. And you're able to draw this line of best fit through the data pairs, through the ordered pairs, and it really corresponds to them. And since you're able to draw a line of best fit that's going up from left to right, we say it has a positive correlation, a positive relationship. Both the x value and the y values are increasing. The same can be true over here, except it's going to be a negative correlation. If you look at all of these ordered pairs, you can see that they're pretty tightly clustered in a negative direction, meaning it's going down from left to right. Again, what is the relationship between these ordered pairs, or what is the correlation? It's negative because they're going down. Now, if you ever come across a relation where the data points are sprawled out all over the place, there really is no, you looking at this, you can see there really is no relationship between your x value and your y value. There's no way you could draw a line of best fit because they're all over the place. They're scattered. And that's why there's relatively no correlation. So what we'll be talking about in this section is the relationship between two data sets, specifically the correlation. If you can see that the trend is that from left to right, the data points are increasing, then we say it's a positive relationship. If the data points are decreasing and the trend is that they're decreasing, we could draw a line of best fit that's decreasing. We'd say there's a negative correlation, and if they're all over the place, then we'd say there's no correlation. Look at this example. It says the Hernandez family spent 6 hours traveling by car. The two graphs show the gallons of gas that remain in the gas tank and the miles driven for each of the 6 hours. So the two graphs are going to show two things: the gallons of gas that remain in the gas tank and how many miles they've driven for each of the 6 hours. Which is which? Here's what they mean. Notice both of these are represented by hours driven. Does it make sense that our y value here is the gallons of gas left in the tank, or how many miles they've driven? Or perhaps it's over here. Does these y values show the gallons left or the number of miles? So let's think about this. Notice our hours driven are increasing. What do we expect to happen as the number of hours increase? Do we expect our gallons of gas to go up or down? Do we expect the number of miles we have remaining to go up or down? Okay, so think about this. Obviously this one shows a negative correlation. Okay, they're going down. So when we think about this, as our hours driving increased, is the number of gallons that remain in the tank going down, or is the number of miles we've traveled going down? Hopefully you'd say the gallons of gas in your tank. The more you drive, the gallons of gas that remain in your tank are going to go down. So this one would be gallons of gas. Okay, and the reason, your explanation could just be, as your hours increase, hours driven increase, the amount of gas you have in your tank goes down. I'll say the number of gallons of gas. Decrease. That makes sense. Obviously, you drive a long way, you have to stop and get gas along the way. So let's double check it over here, even though we probably can figure out an answer. As our hours driven increase, we can see we have a positive correlation here. They're going up. So what can we say is true? Is the number of gallons we have that remain in our gas tank increasing, or the miles driven increasing? We could say the miles driven increase. And that's the same explanation here. The more hours you drive, the more miles you have driven. Okay, which makes sense. Now, the part B says to describe the correlation of each data set. Well, I've already kind of mentioned that. notice that these are pretty tight together. Okay, so obviously there is a correlation. Oops. And is it positive or negative? Well, this is going to be a negative correlation. Okay, because there definitely is a correlation. Oops, I apologize, guys. There definitely is a correlation. They're pretty tight together and it's going down. And over here, though, this will be a positive correlation. And the reason for that is, again, there definitely is a correlation because they're kind of bunched together. And since from left to right it's going up, it would be considered positive. So again, correlations, you guys, just describe the relationship. Correlations just describe the relationship between two data sets. In this case, hours driven and gallons of gas ran in the tank, and hours driven and the number of miles traveled.